Hello and welcome to the British Dapper. Today we're talking about mastering fall elegance with timeless fabrics and warm tones. So over the last couple of weeks we've been talking about autumn 2025 just in time ideas for colour ranges and what's trending at the moment. And the last two videos we've looked at different ensembles that could be employed using a tweed jacket, that quintessential autumn fabric that really does go well at that time of year. But this week we're talking about suits and suiting materials and how we can still get that elegant look incorporating some of those autumn tones, those warm earthy colours that we talked about, and also looking at briefly about what's trending at the moment and my personal view on that. So I know we mentioned before that pink is quite prominent in the current trending for autumn 2025. I'm not convinced that it's going to be a very popular colour for existing or people that are sartorially minded and wear suits and those autumn tones on a regular basis. I do think it trends and it's going to be very popular with the younger generation and maybe somebody that wants to be setting a trend, not necessarily somebody that's wearing classic attire. I think maybe if you're going to try and break into that trend area, then you're looking at wearing a dark blue suit, something along these lines, and also maybe a pink shirt and a darker pink tie might be quite a good combination to wear. And it is those slightly trending colours. Equally, you could employ something along the lines of a navy tie with a pink shirt, and I still think that's quite a good aesthetic as well. But I do think the gingham shirt's quite loud, and so if you're not really sure about that, then maybe consider a very plain pale pink shirt. And I think that's quite a good look, especially with some modern styled shoes, and I think you've got a really good look there. So with those cobalt blue colours that we talked about being trending at the moment, maybe not the best colour to wear personally, but I think if you're going to inject that colour into it, then maybe with an existing suit or something like that, you might pick it up in the tie. For example, here we've got a polka dot tie and maybe some of those colours in the pocket square itself, and it does lend itself to the overall look of wearing a suit. Personal choice. I personally don't particularly like that particular colour in a shirt or a tie or a pocket square, but it could be worn. So you could use that three-piece suit, and in this case we're talking about a pinstripe suit because that's trending at the moment. I would say maybe using those brighter reds in the tie or the pocket square might be a really good way of actually achieving that trending red raspberry colour being used. I think it's quite a good look, and with the suit itself I think you get an overall look that's still suitable for business wear. Similarly, if we're going to wear blue in the actual tie, I think it goes particularly well with those earthy tones we were talking about, and in a suit that is a smoky grey Prince of Wales pattern suit, I think that light blue tie on the backdrop of a blue shirt tied in with some of those burgundy shoes. The burgundy shoes go particularly well in the autumn period, and I think they complement the overall look. Maybe this is the way you want to go for that autumn wear, and it's a three-piece suit as well, so you do get that much more formal look from that, even in a casual manner. And when it comes to autumn, it could be a little bit cooler. So maybe you want to introduce something like this Donegal tweed jacket or suit. And we've used that traditional burgundy colour in the tie and the pocket square, but we've used that forest green look, Lavac green, in the actual waistcoat to give it a little bit of a pop. And again, we're using those burgundy brogue shoes just to give it that overall warm feeling. Now this suit is quite good for mid to late autumn period. It's a little bit thicker than a suit you'd buy off the shelf, but something seriously to consider if you wanted to go for a more traditional look. Similarly, we could change that waistcoat for a burgundy waistcoat, and I still think you've got a really good look going there for the autumn period. So another option would be a Prince of Wales grey suit, quite a popular colour, and also in this case we've got a wool tweed suit, and it's actually in a Prince of Wales pattern, but the reds that go in that are a little bit more brighter. Those raspberry sort of bright reds are being incorporated into this, so they go well in the tie and the pocket square. But also we're using those burgundy shoes again to give it a little bit of a lift and soften it for that autumn look. Another option is to just rely on the suit and the actual shoes to give you that more autumn feel. In this case, we've actually used purple as the accent colour, and we're using a white shirt as the backdrop. But the purple goes particularly well with this suit. It's a smoky grey colour, and the burgundy shoes really do accentuate those autumn tones. Similarly with those earthy tones and these other colours that we say are trending at the moment, maybe it might be something to go a little bit more with a more traditional look. Maybe in the earlier part of autumn, we could go for a look where we've got that tweed suit, that Prince of Wales suit, but we've actually incorporated some of those greens in the pocket square, maybe in the cufflinks, or in the tie itself. A paisley tie would go particularly well with this look. And we've used those more conker coloured shoes to go with the actual suit itself. So playing down the formality of this suit a lot further now with this colour shoe. But it does go particularly well for the early autumn period. And one of my favourite looks for the autumn period is a little bit more along the lines of a formal look, but I like using the Prince of Wales suit with a berry over check, and with that we're wearing those burgundy colours in the actual tie and the pocket square, and I think it goes particularly well with that look even in the autumn periods. And it's not particularly an autumn suit or an autumn vibe, but it really does go well in the autumn period. And I don't care what's trending really at the end of the day. When it comes to wearing a suit, wear what you want to wear, the colour range that you enjoy wearing. That's the whole point of wearing these clothes, is to make yourself feel good. And something else to consider is the shoes that you wear with this suit. So it could be something along the lines of, you could wear black shoes with this, black brogue shoes, or it could be a burgundy colour shoe that would go particularly well with this overall autumn sort of colour range coming through. But when it comes to more autumn conditions, then I think we can also look at the suit material that we're using. So whilst you might not want to wear a summer suit because it looks a little bit out of place in autumn, you might want to wear a thicker suit. Now a tweed suit is going to be probably the thickest suit you're going to wear in the autumn period, and I would suggest maybe you're going to wear that towards the end of autumn going into winter. You won't necessarily want to wear that suit early autumn where we're just coming out of summer. It might be a little bit too thick for you. But there are a range of different suit materials you can use that will give you different weights, different thicknesses, and that will accommodate the time of the autumn season that you're going to be wearing that suit. I like wool tweed suits. They don't always come thick and chunky. They can be quite sophisticated and thin wooled materials being used and really still have a really good look. For example, this look here is a Prince of Wales Donegal suit by McGee. Has those earthy tones in it which we keep talking about in the autumn period, and it goes particularly well with maybe a coloured waistcoat, either wine or something along those colours, or a forest green or an emerald green. Still goes really well, especially in the autumn period. And it is a little bit thicker than a normal suit that you would buy from, for example, in store. Now when it comes to buying in store, the suits you get are an average weight. They're not necessarily thick and they're not necessarily thin. So they're very adaptable from that point of view. So maybe that might be your go-to, and if it is, that's fine, but it's not really going to be a winter suit or a late autumn suit. It will be something ideal for the office, something like this potentially, this sort of thickness. It holds its shape well, it's got a bit of body to it, but I think the colour range is going to be interesting. I think if you're going for that autumn look with an off the peg suit, then maybe go for something that's got those browns in it. Maybe a Prince of Wales or something like that. Or it could be something as simple as a plain flat colour in those earthy tones. And I think you'll get a really good look from that type of material being used, and also that colour range being used in that suit. Something else to consider though is the tie and the shirt that goes with that. So if we're going to use those earthy tones, we don't want to end up being too much like Mr. Beige, so maybe a pop of colour in there as well, maybe a blue tie or a blue shirt, or something to give it a little bit more of a punch to it. And I think you'll get a really good aesthetic with that as well. So I think this is the last one we're going to show you now, but in this case we've used a pale blue shirt as the backdrop for the actual ensemble. We've used some of those autumn colours in the actual tie. So we've got some of those raspberry reds, burnt oranges, some creams in there as well. Picked up some of those colours in the pocket square to really give it a little bit of a twist. But we're using a three-piece suit, pinstripe suit, and we're wearing those burgundy shoes with that. And those burgundy brogue shoes go particularly well as a total combination of the tie, pocket square and the shoes. Gives it more of that autumn vibe despite wearing quite a formal suit. And I think this colour range with this suit, you could still go into work and still be a good look, and you'd pick up on some of those autumn notes that are trending at the moment. So just a few ideas there for you about suiting. I would suggest maybe the ideal colours are those earthy tones, so maybe consider something along the lines of a olive green suit, or maybe something along those lines, maybe a brown suit. Maybe break it up a little bit with a bit of pattern, a bit of texture. So it could be, for example, that Prince of Wales pattern, or it could be a Glen check of some description that accentuates those autumn colours. And I think you'll get a really good look overall. So I just want to remind you about the fact we have a Patreon page, and with that you have access to different levels where you can have one-to-one interaction with me at the highest level, and that includes monthly video question and answer sessions, all the way down to the very basic level where you would have access to our WhatsApp group and monthly videos. We also do, in the middle section, weekly videos with exclusive content for the Patreons, as well as behind the scenes information about what we're intending to do over the forthcoming week. So I'll leave the link down below so you can check that out if you want to. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, then please feel free to do so. We have a Buy Me a Coffee page, so if you'd like to make a contribution to the channel, then please feel free to do so. We also love constructive comments, so if you'd like to make some, jot them down below. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. And if you've got a question you'd like to pose to us or you'd like an answer to, then why not jot it down? We'll try and answer your question for you. We also like ideas for future videos, so if you want to make a contribution and make a suggestion about future content, then please, again, jot it in the notes below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. The next video could be something that you've recommended or suggested. So until next time, take care.